Rain, rain, go away. Come again another day. If you don't, I don't care. I'ma wash my underwear. Hey, I was thinking, man. Food for thought for you. Something to think about. To the Christians, nothing against anybody's religion. Believe what you believe. Whatever makes you feel fulfilled in this life, follow that. Do that. Stay dedicated. But I was thinking, they say that Jesus is coming back, right? What makes Christians think, seeing how things are going and shaking out in today's time, what makes them believe that Jesus will come back and save any particular people? Whatever people you think he's coming back to save. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way things are going now, people are so shifty, so backslidden, so to speak, that before they understood who he was, they'll be done got him up out of here. You get what I'm saying? They'll set him up to be killed. You know what I'm saying? Abroad to get him to come somewhere. You know, he coming to share the good news, and she setting him up for the blues. You get what I'm saying? Setting him up for the little C notes he might have. You get what I'm saying? I'm saying that to say it's crazy to believe that a person who embodies good, all good, it's crazy to believe that they will not succumb to that which is not good, which is majority of where we live in today's society, you know? And what makes you think, you know, he would repeat history? If he was set up the first time to be killed and taken up out of here, what makes people think that he's gonna come back and relive the same trauma? I like to think, you know what I'm saying, that he was a wise man. You get what I'm saying? If he existed. Why wouldn't a wise man learn from their mistake the first time? You feel me? And I feel like people who subscribe to that belief in their heart want there to be peace on earth, want there to be harmony on earth. But the nature of human beings is to degenerate until expiration. You know what I'm saying? Decelerate until expiration. You decay day by day until your dying day once you leave the womb. Once you come to this earth and you have breath, you start on your road to decay or expiration. I'm saying that to say that our lives being a microcosm of humanity, human beings exist and evolve until their expiration date, until our expiration date, shall I say. I'm a human being too. But I was just thinking, man, it's a wild thought or belief which has a stronghold on the mentality of many of us based on the teachings of a book that was force-fed to us, misinterpreted. We base our lives, some of us, on the principles from the book that was taught to us, first by somebody who didn't give a damn about us and our ancestors, passed down and given to those who are among us who don't understand how to give a damn about us or our contemporaries, peers, and even those before us. And we continue to pass that down to those who come after us, wanting them to abide by standards that are not realistic in this life that we live, you know? It's crazy, you know, and I feel like I read somewhere that if he were to come back, Jesus I'm speaking of, he would return not to bring peace, but to bring fire. You know what I'm saying? Or he would bring calamity upon earth, not from a wicked place, but from a place of indignation, seeing how far humanity has descended from the likeness of God, you know? If we were made in God's image, if you believe that. Just because you were made in one's image and the image is on you, doesn't mean that you necessarily embody inside the principles that we attach to that image. You get what I'm saying? And why would a man return to a madness such as this, you know? They've created a picture that's not even him, so people won't recognize him. Then he will have to prove to the people that he is who he says he is, despite the lies that are being told on him about who he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And then people got the mission of the man misconstrued. So then he has to retrain or reteach what the mission is, which, knowing us, is speaking on, my skin tone. You know what I'm saying? We so hard-headed, we're not going to believe anything anybody said, whether they are that or not. You know what I'm saying? We live in a place and time where everybody's opinion is vocalized. Everybody has a platform for their opinion. We don't care about agreeing to get a goal accomplished. We want to be right. So if a million different people are right in their opinion, according to them, but the goal never gets done, is being right really a positive thing, a good thing? I feel as though, I think Lauryn Hill said this. I want to give her credit. What good does being right do if you're not righteous? Much more better of a person to be righteous than just to be right. You get what I'm saying? And thinking of that, we live in a time where everybody's self-righteous. I'll even put myself in that category because I do strongly believe the principles I stand on, things that I've internalized by way of my study, my life experience, I have internalized and then created principles based off my understanding. So I'd have to put myself in that category as well. I feel as though I'm righteous in my stances as well. But I also understand that because I'm righteous doesn't always mean that I'm right according to the perspective of those who I'm standing among, And that is the fact that most of us try to sidestep. We feel as though not only are we right, but we're righteous because we're right and right, Not necessarily. Case in point, if you believe in the judicial system, they get a lot wrong, but let them put on TV or down your social media feed that somebody has been arrested for this particular crime, they got their mug shot up. You're going to believe that it's right because you saw it and they went to court and were convicted. You didn't sit in the court proceeding. You're not their lawyer. You know what I'm saying? You're not the judge. That's the bad example, but you haven't been there to hear all the evidence against this person. You weren't there with the person to know if what is being said on either side is true or false, whether what the defendant or the plaintiff is saying. You don't know what is what, but because a media platform put it in front of your face, put the picture in front of your face and said that this person was convicted and sentenced for this, you believe they're right. Inherently, the judicial system, inherently the judicial system is not righteous. So how can you take what they say is right as being right? It's, I hope I didn't confuse you, but I'm saying all that to say it's better of us to be righteous as opposed to always wanting to be right. Tis what it is. You feel me? Some people may say it's not right to be disagreeable. That's not the right thing to do. But if you're in a circumstance where if you don't agree or if you don't disagree, shall I say, and you'll be taken advantage of, but the right thing to do is to go along to get along, be agreeable, you know what I'm saying? Hold your head down, be humble, don't speak, don't say nothing. You're going to endure what's not right because you're trying to be right. You know what I'm saying? But the righteous thing to do would be, in my opinion, again, there's that self-righteousness coming up out of me, you know what I'm saying? According to me, according to my principles, the righteous thing to do would be to be a disagreeable person in the face of that which tried to get you to endure circumstances that are beyond, you know what I'm saying, your capacity and your willingness to keep your dignity intact entails, Why would you involve yourself in that for the sake of being right? And I feel as though now in this country, that's what we are. And I keep using the word we. I have a video, if I haven't sent it out by now, you will see it soon, about Black unity, Black love, how it's non-existent in my opinion, based on what I've seen thus far in my life, in my short life, you know what I'm saying? But that being said, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We try to do things that are quote unquote right or deemed right by those who make us endure circumstances that are inhumane at times, unfair, unjust, unrighteous. But we're right though. We're right. And then again, why would a person that so many people believe in based on their idea of what's right, based on what has been told to them, why would a person come back to that madness to try to save or redeem or deliver a people who are so far gone, so psychologically dysfunctional, so lost in a culture that has engulfed them? Why would a person come back to that madness? Some may say that that's the embodiment of God and Jesus, depending on your belief as a Christian. Inherently, I feel as though that's not even logical, which spirituality isn't meant to be logical always. Sometimes it tears at your heartstrings, so there's an emotional aspect. But if we think about it though, if God has granted free will, right? You have the choice to decide to do A or B. The principles that were laid out to you were for you to do A. The son of the man who gave you the principles is coming so that you follow A. If you're already trained or conditioned to do B, why would he come back to try to get you to do A when the principles were already laid out for you to do A and you have chosen to do B? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. You were given a choice. That's, again, you don't want to take accountability for your sins. He already took, according to the belief, he already took, because of your decision to do B, he took from you the responsibility of being guilty, of taking accountability for the sins based on your choice in doing B. So you want this man to come back again, and although you have not understood that he died for you to convert over to doing A, the principles laid out by his father, you want him to come back and then try to convince you in your hard-headedness, you get what I'm saying, in your self-righteousness, in your unwillingness to take accountability. You want him to come back and convince you to do A, which was already laid out for you to do, and he died for you because you chose to do B before. You're still doing B. You know what I'm saying? Now, hey, come back and save us because bro, it's time to take accountability. It's time to take responsibility for saving us. But we're looking outwardly and externally, always looking outward for assistance, which leaves us in worse conditions because we're always dependent on somebody to come and save us. We're always depending and waiting on somebody to come deliver us, to fulfill a promise, which we know in life, people break promises. That's what people do. That's innate. People are driven by self-interest, So if they made a promise to you and you realize, wow, this promise seems too good to be true, even if they were paying a debt owed or paying for atrocities against you, if they're making a promise to make right that, but it doesn't benefit them in the long run, why are you still believing that they're going to come through with that promise? We have too much faith in human beings. I'm gonna take that back. Black people have faith in every other culture and human being but black people. That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. Why would somebody come back and save the people like that? Why? Why would they repeat history? And for us to be waiting on somebody to do that, what do you think Malcolm was? What do you think Martin was? What do you think Fred Hampton was? What do you think all these people that did exactly the thing that you saw in that book that was done by the quote-unquote savior, the Messiah, although the words may be different, the way they expressed and gave examples about the plight suffered by the people that they belong to may be different, more modern, so to speak. Although it's not verbatim what that man did in that book, the example that they set is so similar, and we still didn't pick it up, and it was done over and over again. What makes you think that he's going to come back and do that, and you haven't seen it when it was done by those who lived out what that man was doing in the book? And what was he doing? In my opinion, again, nothing against anybody's religion. You probably have more book knowledge on this subject than I. But from a spiritual standpoint, from what I've read, from what I ascertained, what he was doing was based on his predecessors, who were all trying to keep together a community, a civilization that has went through so much trauma, was in bondage, escaped from their bondage, and they were trying to maintain a civilization that was fresh and new, based on their principles, based on their commandments, 10 commandments, ways to live by, based on a deity that they all agreed on that loved them unconditionally. He was the man that is the Messiah, Jesus Christ. He came after all of those men before him, David, Solomon, you know what I'm saying? Whoever was a part of the tribe of Israel, Moses, you feel what I'm saying? Joseph, all these people that came before him, Abraham, you get what I'm saying? All these men who are a part of his genealogy, his lineage, he was a culmination of all those men. Jonah, Joshua, you get what I'm saying? Name them. I know y'all know because y'all go to church and, but all these, he was a culmination, amalgamation of all the principles, all the spirits that were before him. He was sent by his father to redeem the people who lost their way. He came and he was the man in flesh to reconvene, keep intact and maintain a civilization that was under Roman rule and began believing more in materialistics, money, taxes that was owed to the Romans. They started to buy into a decadent lifestyle and became betrayers of the God, the deity that they all agreed upon in times past. He came to show them the way. That was the right way to the kingdom of heaven, which in the kingdom of heaven, it shall be down below as it is above. Harmony among your community is the kingdom of heaven. What was Malcolm doing? What was Martin doing? The same names. These are just general names. What was Fred Hampton doing? What were these people? Harriet Tubman. Let's throw some women in there. You feel me? Sojourner Truth. Ida B. Wells. What were they doing? The same thing that man was attempting to do in the book, but we are so fairy tale landish in our mentality. We like a fairy tale story that entertains us and makes us feel good. It makes us feel like it's not our fault that we're not taking responsibility for our raising up, It's like we want to live. It's not a movie. Life is not a movie. You feel me? What needs to be done, although it may be scripted by God, it's not a script that was written among us, which means there are not particular roles that need to be filled based on a happy ending that has been written by human beings. Because if it was up to human beings, there would be no happy ending written. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand that. We still have faith in humanity, which is the issue. So I'm saying all this to say, I was thinking, to those who believe in Jesus, right? Why would you believe? And I'm open to discussion, you know what I'm saying? I'm not so closed-minded that I can't hear a different perspective, but I was just thinking, based on what I've read, that example has already been set. The principles are already in place. What it is you don't want to take accountability for the free will you have to make decisions. And with those decisions comes consequences. If you choose to have ultimate faith in everybody outside of your community, the consequence of that is a conditioned mind to still be enslaved mentally to continue on the path that they set for you, which is going to end you over a cliff, which is going to end you into a dead end, a brick wall. That is the consequence of the choice that is made by us collectively. There are some people that still believe in black love, black unity, and speak that when you see it on platforms. But you can only go based off of what is in your surroundings as you're attempting to build a path to expanding your surroundings, if that makes sense. You have to start where you are, just like with voting. Let's take this for example. Voting, right? There's so much pressure on us to vote. One, just like the judicial system, if you still believe in the political arena as it stands today, I would say you're delusional, but that's my perspective. Again, that's self-righteousness. Personally, maybe I'm not right for saying that, but you know what I'm saying? Righteousness will show us that it's an unrighteous system that we live under. So therefore, the processes within that system is not righteous. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm saying that to say they put pressure on us to vote, right? Nationally is what they want us to vote for more times than not, which 9 times out of 10 won't trickle down to us in any major or significant way. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is starting where you at will entail that if you want to make it to where your voice counts nationally, you have to start locally. Vote for your city, your mayors, your governors, your city hall officials, people who are going to directly affect the state, the county, the territory in which you live. But sensationalism puts a bright light on national voting. You know what I'm saying? The national candidates, which we all go for every year, most of us, or every 2 years, 4 years, wherever their terms are, election terms are. Excuse me. I'm saying all that to say, you have to start where you are. To look outward and be like, oh, well, I heard in a state that's cross country from where I am, that there's a community that has black love. And they preach black love every Sunday at this, gathering that are you participating? Are you seeing that manifested in your life? It's okay to be inspired by that which you are not directly, involved with or in the vicinity of. That is good. That's good. That's what studying is for me, personally. I get that. But if it's not something that you internalize and then therefore spread in your vicinity, in your territory, it's null and void. It's feel good. It goes back to that entertainment status or entertainment scenario, or that desire to be entertained. It's the same with feel good stories. You want to feel good after a hard day's work. You know what I'm saying? And you off the clock, and you sitting at the crib, and you need something to fill a void. That feel good story about the people cross country that's, congregating and talking about black love and preaching about black unity. It sounds good. It makes you feel good. How are you manifesting what you internalize based off that feel good feeling? The same with entertainment. I'm guilty of it too. I like to be entertained at times, to get my mind off of things that I think, like this here thought that I'm sharing with you. But I don't ever delude myself into believing that the entertainment is what's going to sustain me spiritually long term. It's cool for the moment. It's like an in the moment kind of thing. And me being a person that used to live in the moment, it was good for me to find something that can captivate me in times where I feel like I need to do something this very moment, or feel something this very moment, or bust a move this very moment. Something entertaining for that moment is good because it captivates me for that moment. But my grind is still on my mind. The time for the grind, I'm always going to have that. I'm always going to have time for my grind. You feel me? Overall, the grind should be for us unity, but that's not the reality. Like I said, I did a video on this already. You'll see it coming soon if it's not out now. If it is out, check it out. I'm not going to ask you for no likes or nothing like that, but just, pick up what I'm putting down. Tell me why. Does anybody have an answer as to why that man, let's go to God. Why would God even send his son back down if he really loved his son to relive the same trauma? Because I feel like we believe that if Jesus were to return, he's going to bring peace and give us all the answers we needed. And The answers may come, but it might not be the answer you want. Do you feel me? Even in his lifetime, if you read the book, he wasn't loved by the people until he died. That's the same with black people now. We don't respect or honor somebody until they die. We don't put value on that person's life until they're dead. It was the same with him. You know what I'm saying? He had people in his circle that denied him when he was dying, and it took the women to see that he was no longer in the tomb for them to develop the Christianity religion, that he would return because of the vision that they had of him, or a dream that they had of him when he left earth, left flesh. You know what I'm saying? Again, what was amazing about the story was in his death, he accomplished what he was sent to do by God. You know what I'm saying? He was able to maintained the people of Israel for however many more years after that, or centuries after that. I guess into the Inquisition, or I don't know. But I don't know the history beyond that. But in any detail, I kind of do, but that's not for me to, pick apart what I do know and then, I forgot this, but not right now. But I'm saying that to say, in his death, in Jesus Christ's death, he accomplished what he was sent to do, which made his crucifixion a success in the eyes of the believers. That's how you get people like, what's his name, Paul or Saul, or, people like that came after him to preach what he was preaching in his lifetime, to establish the church, or establish the people who would join together and be agreed upon the principles that he set, which he was only reiterating what was set before him. Do you feel me? That kept the civilization intact. I'm saying all that to say, we have the principles, we have the standards, the 10-point program by the Panthers. We have Malcolm, who stood and died. We still don't get what he was teaching. We have Martin that stood and died. We still don't get what he was teaching. We have Huey, who stood even into the end of his life, although he probably made mistakes toward the end, which maybe brought his death to him quicker. Because all the enemy does is he entraps you with what your vice is. You feel me? If I'm a ladies' man, you feel me? All it's gonna take, if I step on the road on behalf of black people, and I want to be the voice of the people and grassroots development, and I start organizing, all they're gonna do to infiltrate the movement is send at me what my vice is, or what my inclination is, or what my desire or ambition or inspiration is. Like I said, if I'm a ladies' man, they're gonna infiltrate the movement with a contentious woman. You feel me? If my vice is a addictive personality, they're gonna get me hooked on some kind of narcotic or drug. If my vice is concessions, resources, materialistics, they're gonna entrap me with money or the monetary. I'm saying all that to say, in Huey's case, I feel as though it was an orchestrated murder, but he was only murdered because he was vulnerable by way of his vice. But yet and still, he was an example or a pillar to the people in his lifetime, and we still don't get what he was teaching. Bobby Hutton in his short life was an example. He wasn't an orator so much, but he stood for something that the people can see the example and stand as that young man was standing. He died for that. You feel me? We still don't understand what he was standing for. Do you feel me? The list goes on and on and on. So why would a God, seeing all this from above, wherever he or she sits or views us, send his son back down to more than likely repeat the same history that was in that book? Because I feel like we just want to live out what's in that book. We don't want to learn from the examples set by those who went through things, endured things, overcame things. We want to relive. We want to see, who am I in this book? That's cool to do, but that should only show you how to conquer in your lifetime circumstances that are unbecoming of the man or woman you're trying to be. So I'm gonna leave it right there. That was a little food for thought for you, something to think about, something I was thinking about and I wanted to share with you. Believe what you believe. That's my last word to you, my word of encouragement. Believe what you believe. I'm not here to shoot down what you believe. I'm just saying, research what you believe. Put more thought into what you believe, therefore making your principles more solid when you're standing on what you believe. instead of just taking what everybody tells you and just believing what everybody tells you. You feel me? That's insanity. Especially if you believe that what they're telling you is for your best interest. Nah, I feel like it's to keep you a certain way mentally, to continue to exploit you, you know what I'm saying, and earn off of you. You know what I'm saying? And keep you in a certain position to where they don't have to fear retaliation for the ills that they've done to you and your family. But most of us don't even really care about us and our family. We just care about us. So it doesn't matter. So they got us where they want us, you know? You know, religion was inserted to keep us a certain way mentally. You feel me? But instead of us understanding that, we put religion over everything. Therefore, we separate ourselves from those who we feel as though don't believe how we believe. And who's to say what you believe is right? Is it righteous though? Is it righteous? So I'm gonna leave it right there. Again, believe what you believe, nothing against you. I believe in the ancestors. I believe in those who came before us spiritually. They still exist, and therefore are looking at the dealings that we partake in here on earth, not necessarily judging us, more so guiding us, still having that free will. But one day we will be among them spiritually, and then we will recount things that we've done here. You could say have excuses, reasons, explaining. They'll tell us what we went right. And I feel as though some of us will do it again with the understanding that was given to us by those who came before us, who really love us, who really see the good in us. You know what I'm saying? Not the fallen state that we've learned to embody over time, living in harsh conditions. They see our essence. Therefore, when we leave here, our essence will return to those who are before us. Our essence will return to those who have been watching and guiding us, and then we will congregate in a place of harmony. That's what I believe. Feel free to believe what you believe. It's all love. I'm gonna leave it right there. Yes.